Hi there, I'm Christina Fecio, and I'm here chatting today with Beth Starks. Many of you know Beth because you were at our event last year, Western New York Leadership Day, where we were fortunate enough to have her as our keynote speaker. So I know that Beth is really working tirelessly right now on behalf of all providers in Western New York and beyond to help mitigate the impact of the COVID-19 crisis. So I'm so happy she was able to find a few minutes to chat with me today. And Beth, I was wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about what's going on in your corner of the universe and the impact that you're having out there beyond your little corner in Chautauqua County as well.
Well, I'll say that I'm exhausted like everyone else, that there's not enough time in the day, that from my corner of the world. So my full-time job is professor at our college, and all of our classes have been moved to virtual. So I'm helping my students, our future educators, to navigate that system. And then what was my part-time job, so I founded my child care center. It's a nonprofit, and it started 15 years ago. And so at this point, I have an amazing program director and administrative staff, and my teachers, my staff. They mostly were doing good on their own and came to me for the high level things. And now I'm there probably 40 hours a week, just trying to help out in this time period. So a lot of my time has been spent with children, with families, listening to my staff and their concerns, and trying to make the right decisions with our board financially to stay afloat during this time period. And then in addition, I've been working on a county-wide plan for childcare. So I've been working with our local CCR&R, Chautauqua County Child Care Council, to try to work with the schools, with all of the providers in the county, with businesses, and with the hospital and medical system, to try to make sure that we have a really coordinated, cohesive plan for childcare. In addition to that, I'm blessed, and I feel really honored to serve on the governor's child care availability task force, and in that capacity and in my statewide work, have been trying really hard to do the same thing, but on the state level, to make sure that as providers, that our voices are heard, and that the children, that their voices are heard, who can't speak for themselves, and also that that each of the families, who, some of which I'm sure, just like the rest of you, that the families that are crying in your office because they're paying you more than they make in a week, or because they're scared to leave their children during this time, or they're just so stressed out and emotional, that I also have to right now carry that voice for the families as well.
So when you think specifically about that advocacy hat that you're wearing, is there anything that's really top of mind for you that you want to make sure that other providers know is being done on their behalf?
I want you to know that there are a lot of people across the state working right alongside you and with you, and carrying your voice. And so, to my fellow directors, for you to know that, number one, your time in advocacy is worth it and important. And as much as you're immersed in the day-to-day and trying to get through this emergency, taking a minute to send a letter, to share a story, to make your voice known to the governor, to the media, it does make a difference. And also know that if you have a need that you don't feel is being met, please bring it forward to someone else, and let any one of us, someone on the task force, someone at AUIC, Winning Beginning, any of the advocacy voices, if you have a need that you don't think is being addressed by anyone, please bring it forward, and we will try collectively. Our voice is magnified, and so I'm sure you're not the only one, and we can work together to make sure that we all make it through this.
Yeah, I think that's such an important point, mentioning that collectively we do have more strength in numbers. That's something you and I have talked about. There's lots of conversations going on about just how important it is that we have a united voice. When you think about that, like that importance of us being united, What do you think is the most important thing that a provider should remember now, or something that they can do now to feel heard, but to make sure that we're all working together in a meaningful way?
I think that our efforts need to be coordinated. I feel that there are a lot of us all talking and all maybe in different directions and not meaning to. I try to really be cognizant of the fact that we need to work together and move in the same direction, and sometimes not meaning to, inadvertently we end up working against each other instead of with each other. And so I do think the communication is important and the collaboration is important, and we won't all have every one of our top needs met. But together, hopefully, we could work on a strategy that would help all of us as a field and help us all to move forward together.
So when you think about that, particularly in regard to Winning Beginnings or the Governor's Task Force that you mentioned, if someone is compelled to reach out, what's the best way to do that? Is it to send an email or a phone call, or what would your recommendation be?
So Winning Beginning has a website, New York AAYC has a website, the Early Care and Learning Council has a website, and any of those, they do have email addresses where you can reach out. In addition, all the members of the Governor's Child Care Advisory Task Force, that's published, so you know who's on the task force. So for our area, it would be myself and Sherry Scavone. We would happily take emails or phone calls if you had a story. New York AAYC was collecting stories of families and providers so that we could put those all together to have, a collective place where all the stories were so that we could get them heard. I also think go to the governor's office and email the governor's office, or email maybe a news source so that your story could be heard. Sharing stories is so powerful. And as I listen to our governor every day, that those stories are shared and those stories are listened to. And I think that his staff is trying really hard to make sure needs are met, and there are a lot of needs right now. And so if we can share some of those stories and maybe have questions asked that are in regard to childcare, we've heard him say childcare, we've heard his staff say childcare, and the more we can ask questions in a thoughtful, intentional way, I think that can help.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And I think I can speak for everyone in the Directors as Leaders group and the folks that I work with every day, just to say thank you for the advocacy work that you're doing, because it's having an impact, obviously, beyond your little corner in Chautauqua County, statewide and even at the federal level. So thank you for doing what you do and for telling your story as well. We appreciate that.
Well, thank you for all that you are doing and all that all of you are doing every day. I am thankful to the Office of Children and Family Services. They've been incredible. They're working so hard, tirelessly on your behalf. So sometimes when it doesn't feel like that, or when it feels like you aren't hearing information, or maybe it's too much or conflicting information, just know that they're amazing and trying really hard as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of good people doing good work on behalf of children and families and those of us who serve them as well. So I can appreciate that. And I appreciate you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we wrap up?
No, just know that we're all tired, and it's okay to feel worn down some days and to feel like it's all too much. Everyone is feeling that way. And also, sleep on it, and the sun will come up again tomorrow. That I look at the sunset every morning and know that's a message that, okay, it's a new day, we can start again, and we're all better together.
All right, that's perfect. Thank you so much.
Bye.